Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to finish going over the steps for balancing redox reactions. So let's go back to the beginning. So in the first step of balancing an equation, you want to first assign oxidation states to all the elements in all of the atoms in the products and the reactants. So you want to determine the element that got oxidized and the element that got reduced. And the only way you're going to do that is if you can see a change in the oxidation states. So if the oxidation state of an element going from reactant to product increases, becomes more positive, it lost electrons and therefore got oxidized. If the oxidation state in going from reactant to product decreases or becomes less positive or becomes more negative, then that one gained electrons, and so that got reduced. And so you can figure out what got oxidized, what got reduced once you've figured out the oxidation states. Once you figured out what got oxidized and what got reduced, you could pull those out and separate them to create your reduction half reaction and your oxidation half reaction. So you're going to write those out. So that's step 2. Step 3, now you're going to balance each of the separated half reactions. And you're going to balance, you can balance them at the same time, or you could do one at a time, but you got to balance them separately. And you're going to balance them first according to mass. So you would first balance the elements other than hydrogen and oxygen. Balance those first. So you can balance your metals first. Balance those first. Generally speaking, balance the metals and then balance your nonmetals. And then when you balance your nonmetals, you want to usually balance all of your nonmetals that are not hydrogen and oxygen. So leave hydrogen and oxygen to last. When you balance your hydrogen and oxygen, you want to balance oxygen by adding water where oxygen is needed. Now, again, this is we're going to separate this into balancing in an acidic solution versus balancing in a basic solution. So far, it doesn't matter. So far, what we've gone over, at this point, it doesn't matter either or. So this applies to both acidic solutions and basic solutions. So when you're balancing oxygen, you want to balance with water. So whatever side needs more oxygen on, that's the side you're going to add water. So you're going to add as much water as you need to balance out the oxygen. And then once you balance out then once you got the oxygen balanced, then you can balance out the hydrogen. And the way you're going to balance out the hydrogen is, now that you've added water on one side, that means you've added hydrogen on that side. So you're going to have to go to the other side and balance it with H+ ions. And so you're going to add whatever amount of H+ ions you need to balance out the hydrogen. That's what you're going to add. So you balance out the hydrogen by adding H+ where hydrogen is needed. Now, all of that is the same for balancing a redox reaction in an acidic solution, as well as balancing a redox reaction in a basic solution. However, if you are balancing a redox reaction, a basic solution, then you have one final step to add before you go to balancing charge. And that is, you need to neutralize your H+ ions. So whatever amount of H+ ions you have on one side of your equation, you have to add OH- to that same side, so that way those two will balance out. And so that once you've got that done for both half reactions, you're now done with the balancing of the mass. All you've done is you've made sure that you have the same number of atoms of each type of element on both sides of your equation for each half reaction. So now the next step is number 4, balancing charge. So there you're going to balance the charge of the half reactions by adding negative electrons to the side that is more positive, right? So you look at both sides of your half reaction and you find, okay, which one is more positive? That's the side to which you are going to add negative electrons to make sure that the two sides of your half reaction are balanced. And you're going to do that for both half reactions. Once you've got that done, now that you've got the charge balanced, then you got to make sure that the number of electrons in both half reactions are equal. And so that means you're going to have to multiply each half reaction by some factor, or maybe one of them by some factor, so that way that the number of electrons in both half reactions are the same. And the reason why that's important is because when you bring back those two half reactions, you want the number of electrons to cancel out. You don't want electrons left over in your overall equation. You want the same number of electrons that are being taken away, that are given off, should be the same number of electrons that is being picked up. So that way when you bring them together, the number of electrons will cancel out. Okay, so now you're ready. Once you've got the mass balanced, you've got both sides of each of your half reactions balanced with the number of atoms on both sides. And you've now balanced the charge, and you've made sure that you have the same number of electrons on both sides for both half reactions. Now you're ready to put them back together. And now you're going to start canceling whatever needs to be canceled out. So of course your hydrogens are going to be canceled out because they're the same. So you have the same number of electrons as a product in one half reaction as they are as a reactant in the other half reaction. So they will cancel out. And the same thing with anything else. So if you have H plus in one half reaction, that is product or a reactant, and then you have H plus as a product in in the other reaction or in the other half reaction, then you're going to have to cancel out, so that way you eliminate the H plus or the water on one of the sides. So wherever you can cancel out, do so. And then after you add those together, then just double check by counting the atoms and the total charge on both sides. It should still be the same. So that is how you balance half reactions. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked the video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, make a comment in the comment section. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.